Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, December 18th. I had to go get my lemon water real quick. Hope everybody's doing good. Daniel Berry, good morning. Sweet Tea, good morning. Trump had a speech last night where we thought he was going to declare war on Venezuela, which ALV pointed out that he cannot declare war. Only Congress can declare war. But he can set up blockades, and that is what he did. And he came out and said that Venezuela stole our oil and we want it back. So we're going to take it back. So that's effectively saying we're going to war. So, and Venezuela's none too happy about that. So we'll see how that all plays out. Candace dropped some fucking heat yesterday. The feds, the FBI in particular, is absolutely 100% involved in the cover-up of Charlie Kirk. And they're involved in the assassination and the murder of Charlie Kirk, without a shadow of a doubt. She yesterday on her show, she's talking about, Dawn, good morning, good to see you, sir. Police officers that are coming forward because they know that there was fuckery involved. You know, there's these mysterious SUVs in question the day of the murder that were found around the campus and stuff like that with weird license plates. Well, one of them was pulled over by a cop, and he came forward and said that when he went to approach the window, he was thinking that maybe this was going to be somebody involved in the getaway of, murdering Charlie Kirk. And when he got to the window, it was an FBI agent that flashed a badge at him. And then, so he took off. Lots of things, lots of, my brain's not quite working yet, still early. Although I was already up baking cupcakes this morning. I did a couple dozen cupcakes. I was going to do 4 dozen, but I ran out of time. I might do a couple more. I have a busy 3 days today, Friday and Saturday, and maybe Sunday too, depending on how well I do. Tommy, good morning. Good to see you, sir. So, been busy stocking up on everything, and now it's time to go out and sell it. So, but yeah, she dropped some serious receipts against the federal government yesterday. Dan Bongino is resigning. He's done in January, which, at this point, does anybody care? We know that the FBI is complete fucking garbage. They might as well just flush that. Our whole government needs to be flushed down the toilet and we need to start over. But the FBI in particular, those guys are just an absolute, it's not that they're a joke. It's that they're just a crooked, murderous organization. They're going around killing American citizens and starting false flag operations. This is fact. What's going to come out from this fucking thing about the federal government, the FBI, for Charlie Kirk? It already has. It's fucking incredible. So, and then I think Dan Bongino wants to go back to his podcast world. He's heavily invested in Rumble. He's part owner of Rumble, along with J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and, some other people. It's basically just as X was handed over to the military industrial complex from Elon, so is Rumble. But if Dan Bongino thinks that he's going to have the same audience that he had and the same impact that he had before he went to the FBI, he's sadly mistaken. Because there's at least one person that, naming myself, that zero credibility, none. So, well, let's just get into the video. I don't have a lot of videos. I have a long video that I'm going to play a decent amount of because I like what the guy says, but Here is an angry reporter. It's hard to hear him. A furious journalist demands to know why a camera that could have aided in the Brown University shooting was removed due to a sanctuary city law. The camera in the building the Brown pulled because sanctuary city law, can you imagine what the families are going through? Not exactly sure of all the fact, what they mean by that. Do they mean that they took the camera down way before this started because the sanctuary city laws are saying that we don't want these cameras up because ICE can see them and they'll take illegal immigrants? Sorry about that. Or something else. I'm not exactly sure. But it's hard to hear this guy. He's not happy. And of course, the lawyer or the city official moves in and just steps in front of the cop answering the question. So, I think we're all just kind of sick of, the way the fucking government operates. And we're really getting fucking sick and tired of their fucking lies, their bullshit, their cover-ups, lack of transparency, agendas, just their ill will towards the American people in general. They're just absolute scumbags. And everybody knows it. It's just, it's pathetic. It really is. It's not that they just don't know how to answer questions and that they're covering shit up. They're the ones that fucking perpetrate this shit. They're the ones that fucking orchestrate it. They're the ones that killed the people. It absolutely fucking drives me nuts. Hollywood, good morning. Co-Train, good to see you. I personally, I'm so sick and tired of our fucking law enforcement in this country. It's just fucking garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. They're just, there's no enforcing of any laws. What it is, let me drink some of my lemon water. Hold on here. It's just it's enforcing to keep us slaves. That's exactly what it is. These people just want to keep us slaves. And they do everything they can to keep us confused and in chaos. And for one, I'm fucking sick of it, man. I don't want to continue to live my life being lied to by these motherfuckers. I wish they would just flush these organizations down the toilet and just fucking start over. This lady who's deep CIA 60-minute, I don't know why she's even saying this, but wage war through deception and trickery. I mean, that says it all right there. Let's see here. Lemon. Wow, I seen the word Islam, and then it changed to lemon water. That was so weird. Lemon water. Wow, Styx corrupted you. No, I got to do lemon, and I do ginger, honey, lemon, and just hot water. Otherwise, my voice, I can't even talk after like the second hour. I'm not a talker. I'm a thinker. I don't do a lot of talking, normally. So that's why. But I get what you're saying. Oh, speaking of Dawn, this is about, see what your take is on this, Dawn. And Stu Peters is right there. Magooch, good morning. Was Did you guys not hear that? I wasn't sharing the screen, was I? Son of a bitch. Well, there was the mute minute. I wasn't talking, but the video wasn't playing. And I didn't see the I put it on full screen so I couldn't see the comments. Well, there we go. Hopefully that's the only mute minute of the day. Let me put, where's Sweet Tea's little, she bought me this little wet floor sign that says, Osada, you're on mute. Let me put that right there. Well, let's play it again.
I mean, look, it's not unbelievable that a couple of Muslims would shoot people. That we would believe. But there are just some things about this shooting that just don't quite add up. Like, why would a couple of Muslim invaders be armed in a country where white people had their guns stolen from them by their government, and where white men like Crocodile Dundee were murdered by their government for not giving up their firearms? They owned these guns, fully licensed, legally, while also being investigated as terrorists by multiple agencies. Yeah, this was no surprise. This was supposed to happen. And on that note, I want to share a photograph with you, a photograph from this Bondi Beach shooting where a world-traveling Jewish influence peddler called Arsen Ostrovsky claims to have had his head grazed by a bullet during the shooting before whipping out his phone and taking a dramatic picture and posting it to X. All in the middle of a terrorist attack with bullets flying all over the place. That's what this guy, I mean, that doesn't seem odd to you. It strikes me as contrived or scripted. But if it doesn't to you, if that's not convincing, well, it gets more interesting because Arsen Ostrovsky spoke to the media after the shooting with a large bandage on his head and the blood from his head wound smeared all over his face. And when he did, he claimed to be an October 7th survivor. Really, what are the odds that this guy would be at both of these events that we're told are totally random and in completely different parts of the world, and that he would already just happen to be a well-known, prominent Jewish influencer? And what is the connection between this terrorist attack and everything else that we're talking about today? It seems pretty obvious that this is going to be used to advance the narrative that Islam is back, and that the American goys and Australian goys and all of the other goys of the world better get ready to spill blood. But if you happen to notice that, then people like Alex Jones will go on air and try to gaslight you. The guy who was attacked for years on end for not believing official narratives now pushes official narratives. And if you don't, then he thinks you're nuts.
You fake nationalists, fake Christian patriots.
So, and just with that in mind, like, I heard this, I'm going to play this other video now where this guy, he gets on my nerves. He's always on X. I don't really listen to him, but I gave him a chance today. Something just told me to watch this video just because the look he had on his face. And he makes a lot of sense. And this ties into the Candace thing, the DuPont family, weapons manufacturers, warmongers, the puppet masters, the elite, and the people that just really benefit from keeping us slaves. And it really is, when it comes down to this kind of stuff, it really is the weapons manufacturers. If you look at what's going on around the world, like we were talking about last time Don was on the show, when I was saying that, just my opinion, there's a group of people, whether you can call it the warmongers, the Israeli Zionists, whoever the fuck they are, the puppet masters. I just lost my train of thought. They're playing both sides. Oh, I was saying that they control the terrorist groups like Hamas and Al Qaeda and the Taliban, right? Well, the weapons manufacturers benefit when we go to war. It don't matter who you go to war with. And that's why those people that, Benjamin Netanyahu and his crew, the DuPont family, they all benefit from going to war. And when there's no war, because they own those groups like Hamas or whatever, they just make them, they bomb something. So it's really them bombing us. And then the solution is they fund, we buy their weapons and bomb them. It's just a bunch of fuckery. I did a horrible job explaining that. And then we're going to get to some other good videos, but I want to play this video for a minute. And it was about 4 minutes into it where I wanted to start it. So just hold.
These could get killed. There's bombs falling. They have an enemy. Slavery. Money is debt. That leads to slavery, and slavery is always the population. It's life or death. Their families could get killed. There's bombs falling. They have an enemy of their mother, their homeland, their tribe, their nation. They will spend everything to either survive or destroy the other group. Now, the people doing that know that it's a spell. That's why I do How to Slay a Wizard. These are spells. These are narratives given to people so that they can carry out the will of slave owners and people that give out loans and drug dealers. Now, I'm not placing the blame on them, because in the end of the day, you choose to do the drug, right? It's you choose to do the drug. It's an addiction, and it's your choice. Same with debt. You choose to take out something from the future for now. That's why sins are so dangerous, because that leads to slavery, and slavery is always a choice. That's why people can't face this. This is why I can be so flippant with slavery jokes, is because, it's what we live every day. It's just every culture and every time period has a different type. Debt is slavery. Money is debt. Family is wealth. Gratitude is wealth. Health is wealth. So what did Charlie Kirk really oppose? Like, what is Israel? Okay. I think Charlie Kirk really believed a lot of this stuff because they, quote unquote, need true believers that will still sell what they're told to sell. I was one of them. When I was a comedian in Hollywood, I was selling alcohol and promiscuity. I was never told that was my job. I was just having a blast. And my God-given talent with piano and comedy would allow people to like trust me and feel it and go with it. And I'm doing shots on stage and everyone's having a blast. And the slavery aspect of what I was selling was alcohol, and that leads to slavery, and promiscuity, which leads to slavery because they're addictions. And once I realized that, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like how many sitcoms, how many movies have an agenda, but they're just using talented people. So you have a Charlie Kirk. He's been brainwashed since he was a kid. And I'm not saying Christians are brainwashed, but a certain type, in my opinion, are. I think religion and spirituality and all that is a personal thing. And when it becomes governmental, we have laws against that. Churches aren't supposed to get 501c3 status if they're pushing anything political. So the whole Israel thing and all the trickery and all that, he was really dialed into that. Like he was sold that from the time he was a child. And I know a lot of people like that are good-hearted, but they truly associate the spirit of God that they feel and they pray to with the country of Israel. Now, over time, it appeared that Charlie started being against war. And that's a big no-no. You can be against Jews or Israel or whatever. You can't be against war.
This is the good part, guys.
Right? And so how are you actually against war? You can say all day long you're against war, but what is threatening to war? It's being against debt and being against addiction. You take JFK, wanted to bring back silver, right? He wanted to bring back the silver dollar. He wanted to bring back that, and he did not want to go to Vietnam. But that's the only thing they care about. Now, is he really dead? Do they fake it? Do they offer him something else? I have no idea, but I do know this is true. What I'm telling you right now are first principles, and I know it's true. The Mars family that own the candy bars and all the pet food, they also own cancer clinics and veterinarian clinics. Like they want you kind of sick so that they can profit forever, right? This is the nature of this world. To get a country to go to war, you put them in debt and you make them slaves. So Charlie Kirk starts talking about being against Ukraine. And so I can talk about this right now and I'll be fine because I don't matter that much. Charlie Kirk had thousands of chapters organized, like young people. Erica Kirk, I think her family is in weapons production. I think that the Turning Point USA being afraid of, this is just speculation, but being afraid of the audit is because I think the whole organization has nothing to do with free speech or Second Amendment or anything that it was started for. It's all about Israel. Why? War. It's not even religious. I mean, it's religious in a sense, with the other side there. But it's all about getting people to commit to the narrative that leads to addiction and war. Because you go to war, then you get hooked on pills. Like pills are to numb your conscience. That's like a woman at 40 in debt, not married, in a cubicle working for a boss that sexually harasses her. And those are the people that are on pills because they don't feel right? It's a spiritual wound. And I've lost people that fought in war. That's why this is a personal thing for me. They come home, they need drugs, or they think they need drugs, and because they saw what it really was. They're just enforcers. Like the FBI, they're like security guards. They don't matter. Okay, so what do I think happened? Candace Owens does get some stuff right, and I'm just telling you guys this. I try to keep it funny these days to keep the jester's privilege, but I'll help you connect some dots. The whole Delaware thing. Okay, what's Delaware mean? Well, Delaware is the DuPont family. It's basically a kingdom. And why does that matter? Okay, growing up, I'd watch sports. And the first time one of my guys was traded, it shattered my reality. I thought I was watching like tribes fighting, or same with WWE or WWF. Like you'd see the Ultimate Warrior fighting somebody else, and you're like, and then you'd see him hanging out, and you're like, it kind of shatters your illusion. So here's an example. You're a Dallas football fan, and they're playing the Green Bay Packers, and you're like, they're at war. Now, There's someone who owns the stadium. And there's, let's say you're Coca-Cola or Pepsi. They don't care who wins. They just care if there's people there to buy Coke or Pepsi. So Coke and Pepsi think they're at war. But then there's the distributor of high fructose corn syrup. And then you have the majority shareholder, BlackRock, that owns both of them. You understand? Like, there's not really the wars going on that you think. So look at Israel. Israel is an agitation device. A lot of Israelis are not in on this. They're easy to wind up. They're very manipulatable. And a lot of them are in this finance world and all this stuff. And you can get them terrified and all freaked out. And then you get the evangelicals to associate with that. And then you have the Saudis and these tribal people and oil. And so what is the point of that? Let's say you're selling Coca-Cola. You don't care who's winning the football game. DuPont sells the chemicals of war. And that's the business. Because war, if you can get a country to go to war, they will go into debt forever. And then you can own everything of theirs. You know, and you can do it a variety of ways. You can do it with envy. A lot of the global South, that's the strategy. Where you go to Egypt and you say, don't you want to be more European and less African? And the guy's like, this is a true story. The guy's like, yeah. And he borrows all this money to modernize Egypt and Alexandria and all this stuff. And people are like calling him the Magnificent. And then the debt payments start coming in. Before you know it, the British show up with warships and they now own the Suez Canal. All right. War is simply the enforcement of contracts. And then they repossess everything that your nation holds dear, including human life. Okay. If you get people in a war, they will get into debt. And when you're in debt, you're a slave. Same with vice. You confuse people, you damage them, you traumatize them. They're going to reach for the bottle or the pill to get through the day. And then you're a slave. Okay. The truly free man is not the one who has the assets. It's the one who does not have dependency, right? Dependency is slavery, or is slavery. To not be dependent. You're not addicted. You're not in debt. You're free. That doesn't mean you're rich. You could be poor, but you're not trapped. So Charlie Kirk is being made these offers allegedly. And this is what I've been told. And it makes so much sense. This is speculation, but you have Bibi Netanyahu. He's a war salesman. Okay. He doesn't care. Allegedly. I mean, this is my opinion, but they don't care, it's like a drug dealer. They don't care who they're selling to. And so it's like, stay in the fold. Don't go against this. It doesn't mean you're going against Israel. You're going against the bigger one. It's like saying I'm against the Dallas Cowboys when it's about the movement of high fructose corn syrup or about the stadium being tax credited by the population. Like, who owns the note on the taxpayer, right? It's a bigger picture. And this is why I talk about nukes being fake and stuff like that, because the Trinity site, it's all about debt. The Trinity site, if you can sell a narrative with fear or envy or pride or any of the sins, you own those people. You take a little bit more of them. So the Trinity site where they tested the bombs, they said they'd be done cleaning them up in 1995. Now it's 2070 because, guys, it's poison forever and ever and ever. No, that's just debt. So the money, the millions of dollars a year to clean up a place that has no problems, just like Chernobyl is now a wildlife refuge. And this is going to cause a lot of pain for people because they get addicted to the ego, the fear, and all that stuff.
It won't let me.
Same with moon landing. Right now,
Holy shit. I tried to stop the video and it wouldn't let me pause it. It was like going to keep playing in its entirety. That guy's name is Owen Benjamin. And a lot of his videos are hard to watch because he is like he tries to make them funny. And his sense of humor, for me personally, is just a little weird. So I just scroll by. But once in a while, he does say some things that make a lot of sense. So I'm going to have to reload X really quick because that went haywire. I noticed when you're on StreamYard and you try to do these other sites, it does kind of glitch sometimes. Hold, please. But that makes a lot of sense, and that ties into the Candace and Charlie Kirk thing because those Egyptian planes were always going into Delaware, or Rhode Island, right? Was it Providence? But Delaware, they were going to Delaware too. And the DuPont family is involved in it because it was Pierre DuPont that she was talking about. Remember? And he was the one that it's just absolutely disgusting what that guy did. That Pierre DuPont guy, whatever his name was. Well, it wasn't Pierre DuPont. It was one of them that sexually assaulted his own kids, his own daughter. Hold on. Let me not do this again. Okay. Now, let's go back to this. We're just going to continue with the videos. You can let that sink in, take it for what you will. You know what I mean? He did a lot better job of explaining that than I could. So,
at some point, people will look at this body and say, maybe we should get rid of all 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate and start over because Congress is literally failing the American people. At some point, people will look at this body and say, maybe we should get rid of all 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate and start over because Congress is literally failing the American people.
At some point, how about now? How about right now? At least get rid of all the people that are, associated with the chemical weapons manufacturers and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even so much insider trading that they talk about that they make their money as it is, they really don't want us to know how they make their money. You know what I mean? Like, they're just flat out steal it from us, but it's from the sale of weapons probably and stuff like that. And they do have a huge incentive, all of them, into putting us into war constantly for no reason other than for them to sell their weapons, which is just completely maddening. But let's move on. Let's see what else we got. Candace, it's safe to say that we already know Piers is half a woman anyways. He looks like a tranny. She absolutely strips him of whatever manhood he had left in this.
Why? What is your theory?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what's your theory then? You must have an idea.
My theory is that we should investigate everything strange that happened on that day so we can figure out what happened.
But are you suggesting that? Are you suggesting
why is everybody
Egypt?
Why are we pretending that we don't know why we ask questions? Like, why? Like, you're a journalist.
But you know
what this is. You're like, what's going on? What's going on?
Theory?
Why do you want to know why these planes were tracking Charlie? Well, my theory is that we are being sold absolute Fed slop. The media is doing their Operation Mockingbird Part 2 scenario by telling us, well, unless you absolutely have a conclusion, you can't even ask the question. Yes, we very well can keep asking consistent questions until we get a clarified explanation for what happened on that day. And right now, we have nothing, okay? And that is the reason why people are watching my show, because I'm the only one not treating them like they're absolute idiots who don't have two eyes and who believe in magic bullet theory and who understand that Egyptian planes should not have been tracking Charlie even 3 times this year would be an anomaly, okay? They've been tracking him. We don't know where it's going to end, but we are going to keep asking questions until we get clear answers.
Candace, it may be that the person in the media spewing bullshit to the public is you.
No, nice try. It's not. It's you by saying, why are you asking questions? Don't you worry about Mikey's feelings? Everyone knows what this is. And like I said, because we have the example, the concrete example of after JFK's assassination, the media members quite literally being put on the payroll of the CIA. We have a historical example that we can look at and go, we're not doing that again. Doesn't matter how many times you keep telling the public that I'm spewing bullshit. It is only because there has not been anything that has come out of this investigation that makes any sense that the public is not listening to. I am sorry to say this, Piers, people like you. And what I love about you and I sitting down is that this exact same time last year, you were doing the same weird questioning and making all these things when I said that they were committing a Holocaust against the Gazans. And then you changed your mind.
Actually,
Piers,
this time,
I'll see you next year when you change your mind again and we have
actually,
more information about what happened. And you realize
Candace,
that the difference between me and you is that I have the courage to take the risks and ask the questions first, okay, before it's popular. You wait until it becomes popular and then you change your mind.
Bam! She just fucking annihilated him there. Smoked. smoked. Oh my God. I mean, none of us have any respect for Piers Morgan anyway, but he just got smoked right there. Just annihilates him. Oh, that was fun to watch. She's the best, Stephen. Opened his ass up big time. Just gave it to him. And it's so true too. You know, and if anybody doesn't watch Candace, I'm not saying that to watch her, but just don't believe the bullshit that, because it's all, I mean, they literally, she talked about this yesterday, you know, and she's the one that said that, you know, she had already assumed that Elon had turned over X to the military, and she knows it for sure now, because no one's being attacked more than her. And, you know, you could just see the pattern, she says, about some of these attacks. And they're just, and it was because when she started talking about a certain military base is when these attacks really started coming out. And that's when Erica said, okay, I'm going to fly out there and meet with you. So she nobody can break it down like her. You know what I mean? When it comes to, you know, timelines and, you know, people were worried that she was going to flip a little bit. And I even had to take a break yesterday from it just because it just gets to be a little too much. You know, I don't want it to be I don't want to be involved in a soap opera. You know, I just trying to figure out the truth, just like her. Yeah, she's married, Stephen. She's married to a theologian, dude that has like a theology, like highly religious, white dude. And she's very smart. She was fired from the Daily Wire last year. So she worked with Ben Shapiro. She was a part of Turning Point USA. She would go out on, you know, she was basically Charlie Kirk's best friend. They've been out on tour many times together, you know. And it was because of Candace kind of speaking out against Israel and some other things, why they kind of, why she got wedged with Turning Point USA, because they're pro-Israel. And, you know, kind of what happened was, you know, this was Charlie Kirk's, you know, this is his grassroots. And then it got infiltrated. His business got so big that these people came in and took over his business. He didn't even realize it. You know, once you start hiring people and this person does this and this, you know what I mean? And then it got to the point where, you know, and those people were like super fucking dangerous because they knew, just like Owen Benjamin was saying, you know, people like me and him could talk about this all day long because we don't have any influence, you know, but Charlie Kirk had thousands of chapters and lots of, you know, influence. He helped get Trump elected. And so his words have a lot of weight. And so it's just, you know, it's like it is exactly 100% like JFK in the context of you really don't know why he was killed. You know what I mean? Like every time you listen to somebody, you know, you can go with a different theory. But do we really, really know why he was killed? JFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Robert Kennedy. Why are these people killed? And Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? Because that, you know, when they do shit like this, you know, the psychology that they use on us is so multi-layered. You know what I mean? They get you question your own sanity, and they're very good at what they do. You know, I've been doing this forever, for millions of years, probably trillions of years. Has she ever interacted with Erica on video? Well, there's pictures of them. She was at their wedding. I don't know if there's any interaction with them on video. and pretty sure Erica's family is involved. And I don't know if Owen mentioned that or not. Her family they are weapons manufacturers, and so that's why this whole thing kind of came up, because if you think about it, if you go with that, and the narrative that Charlie Kirk was steering, it doesn't matter if he's pro-Israel or against Israel. That's kind of like they win if we believe that, because it's bigger than that. It is probably more about the weapons, if you think about it, because it all comes down to, you have to be able to, if you're going to be in power, you have to be able to push war. Otherwise, they don't want you in power, because those weapons are being produced. That's why I put in my thing, the weapons of mass production, because that's what it is. Mass produced weapons that need to be used. And they say like 95% of all technology is used to kill people, and that's because of the weapons. I know she's never been on her show. I definitely know she would have her on and have some other people on, but they don't want to go on video against her. I mean, you see how she annihilated Piers. That's exactly why nobody would want to go up against Candace. There's nobody that can go up against her. She smoked everybody. Like Tim Pool came out and called her, man, he said some really bad stuff. He doxed her live on air, saying that, she has no security but one fat guy, and only there's a 4-foot wall. Like really kind of doxed her, in that sense. They called her, the C word, and she just smoked him. She doesn't let that. She just absolutely smoked him. And, he looks like a fool now. And these people are not going to, they just lose credibility. They're not going to get it back. Like when I see a PVD or Tim Pool thing, I just scroll right on past now. I don't even unsubscribed. And, they still, even if you unsubscribe on YouTube, you'll still see PBD and Tim Pool. If you've subscribed in the past, they just push it. But yeah, she is a beast, man. That's why I say she's the most important person in the 21st century. I believe she is. Without her calling this out, the ripple effect is just it's earth shattering. This has cracked a hole in the matrix and exposed a lot of people, a lot of the way things operate behind the scenes, which is good. So I think that the global elite are really counting on, and it'll probably will work, is the new AI digital credit score system that's coming, globally. That's why all these towers are popping up, and to where there's going to be no more free speech. And if you and it's already happened, like in the UK, right? If you make a post about I think that it gets down to, like, if you say something like, "Oh, I don't think that Muslims should be in our country," boom, you're going to jail. They'll come take you out of your house and put you in jail for that. I think that's bait. And we would need to get James or somebody from Europe to back me up on that. It may not be happening in all countries, but let's move on. What else do we got here? Now, with all that in context, it just really makes me think that this guy is, he's just pushing one of the narratives, which is Israel versus, the terrorists, right? The anti-Semitism, so that they can continue to sell weapons.
Kraft's personal mission is to make people aware of hatred toward Jews and others around the world.
I see these things everywhere.
His office scans the internet on this giant screen, searching for signs of anti-Semitism online.
I hate you because we're from different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
He aired commercials during the Super Bowl. Kraft's vision is to make the Blue Square campaign reach as many people as possible.
We can look at a particular university campus and see what's happening there. We can isolate that and know how hate is being spread on that campus, so we can provide that intelligence to the administration of that campus.
Kraft's personal mission is to make people...
And they play that little fucking music in there too. What kind of sellouts are Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady? I mean, for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you should do. Rap, be a quarterback, and then please just fuck off already. You know what I mean? Do your thing and get the fuck on. Fuck off on right on down the road. Please don't get into fucking this hybrid influencer political fucking person. You know what I mean? It just drives me nuts. It's all, these guys just turn into absolute fucking clowns. You know, Tom Brady's like, he was the greatest of all time. And now I hate you because you're different. Shut the fuck up, you moron. Robert Kraft, and isn't he the owner of the Patriots, right? Or he was, I believe, and Kraft macaroni, Kraft macaroni cheese and all that, right? So, and him as well. You know, it's like they can't just be macaroni and cheese owners and football owners. Now they got to be Blue Square anti-Semitism, and we're scanning the internet. Did you catch up on that? Scanning the internet for anti-Semitism. That's what they do at his office. What? So wait, hold on a sec. You went from making macaroni and cheese slices to the Patriots to now your office is scanning the internet. And what does that mean? Does that mean that he has some assistants that are, paying $84 a month for a premium subscription to X and looking at the newsfeed like I am? Probably not. It probably means that he has some type of, access. It's all very fucking weird, man. And that's how you know, like the world is ran by people with so much power. Because, okay, after you're done, making, millions of dollars throwing a football, which there's no value in that other than, like, you go back to selling the Pepsi and the high fructose corn syrup and the stadium and the tax credits, all that, right? That's why those guys get paid. Okay, so people think you're a hero, so now let's use your soul for, this over here. And it's all related, because at the same time, football means nothing at the end of the day. No offense to people that love football. I get it, grew up on it. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change our lives. It's not going to make, you know what I mean? It is enjoyable to watch a game, I suppose. But it becomes so important that they're able to use these people. But I think it's starting to backfire, because we're also connected now with all this stuff that, it's kind of backfiring on them, back in the day, they could, that Robert Kraft thing, if that was a commercial, man, if we're all sitting there watching fucking, the football game, the whole world is watching, and it could just be like Monday Night Football. Remember when the whole world would just be watching Monday Night Football, and then they play that? Oh, fuck. That's got some serious impact. And you're just left at your household to just suck it up and be like, well, fuck, this is what the world, there's a lot of Jew haters out there. There's a lot of, this is necessary. Today, we can, we could discuss it globally, real time, like seconds after they put it out. Like, well, this doesn't make no sense. And we know this is happening over here in our country. But, you know what I mean? Like, we have a lot of access to call bullshit now. Robert Kraft owns the Pats, but has nothing to do with Kraft macaroni. Oh, nothing. Oh, he's not Kraft macaroni and cheese. Okay. See, that's just me talking out my ass. Let me ask ChatGPT. Who owns Kraft macaroni and cheese? Who is the original owners? James Kraft, 1903. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, well, we'll cut that part out. Originally called Kraft Dinner, 1937. They changed the recipe of Kraft. They had to have, because it used to be so good. Now it tastes like shit, just like everything else. I don't know if people could agree with that or not, but I think at one point the noodles got smaller and they turned more brown looking. CG2, good morning. Yeah, Kraft Heinz. That's what it says. The Kraft Heinz Company, formed in 2015 from the merger of Kraft Foods Group and H.J. Heinz. Kraft Dinner still uses that name in Canada. Interesting. Yeah. 3D printed. Yeah, guaranteed, right? It's got to be. That's what I think too. Yeah, it's definitely, some type of just mud that they, just spit out. I used to eat a lot of macaroni and cheese. I don't eat it anymore. Well, once in a while I'll eat it. Like if I see it on the menu somewhere and it just looks fucking amazing, I will. Here's just a random Chevy Chase clip that I seen.
So Lethal Weapon and Christmas Vacation House were the same houses from the outside. Anyway, I noticed that on the lawn of the Lethal Weapon house was a toilet just sitting there on the lawn, and it meant a great deal to me to see that. I asked what it was about. It was, oh, you remember that scene in Lethal Weapon where he throws a toilet or something? I don't know what that.
There's a bomb in it, and I think the guy sat on it and blew him out the roof. Yeah.
There's a bomb in my toilet every morning too. And when we were shooting, one of the first scenes we shot, I was on the roof doing the lights and stuff all around the house, and then I sort of slid down the roof and hanging on the gutter, the rain gutter, and I fall right behind these bushes. In fact, I'd fallen onto the toilet, which had been removed by a better or less, well, I don't know, group of people and put behind that bush instead of just taken off the set, So I landed on the toilet. So Lethal Weapon and Christmas Vacation House were the.
Sorry. Good to see Chevy Chase is still around. Fun fact, Senator John Kerry married the heiress to Heinz Ketchup. I did hear that. That's right. Yeah, that's got to be worth some big bucks. Those people. Very interesting. So Chevy Chase, always liked his movies. That one, I always forget the name of it. I think Sweet Tea said it. Funny Farm. The Vacations were good. All his movies were good. He was even in Hot Tub Time Machine. I like that movie. Spies Like Us with Dan Aykroyd. That was a good one. whole bunch of movies he was in. He is looking old, sounding old too. James, good morning. See no evil, good morning. Yes, we are having a good week here, a little windy. Kind of calm today, but yes, hope you're having a good week as well. Let's see here. Now, Candace said that, they're talking about these white Toyota RAV4 that was spotted 3 times, and the Fed driver flees. Well, we'll just listen to her talk.
After we broke the story of the rentals, of the Toyota rentals, there were some good guys in the police department who had recalled, and I did confirm that I'm speaking with people at the police at the police department at the very least, who recalled something odd that happened on that day involving a white Toyota RAV4. The story goes, obviously, everybody's eyes are peeled, looking for anything unusual, looking for the suspect on this manhunt. And there's an officer who catches a speeding car shortly after the shot is fired, and this officer is convinced that this is the killer. Like I'm going to be in hot pursuit of this killer. The officer pulls over the Toyota RAV4, and when the officer gets to the window, the driver of the RAV4 flashes an FBI badge. I am telling you the exact truth of it, what was communicated to me. And I would like to confirm the story because it's pretty explosive. If that is true, if Toyota RAV4 was pulled over, how do we get that? Do we have to FOIA? I don't know. And that's why I'm putting it out there, because there may be a way to even get around. I'm assuming that officer would have had to have a camera on him. Officers have been courageous, and I'm hearing the rumors, but I want to confirm. I'm hoping that somebody will stand up. Maybe the very officer that was involved in this will stand up and contact me. But I had received a tip a while ago from a few police officers, a tip that I would like to confirm, but I think it should be put out into the open.
Just 1014. I'm still about 15 out, but the window unit that's going to be up there to interview. As per FBI and FBI, we've been given clear direction not to interview, confirming negative interview until they get there.
140, we were not going to interview. We are just arriving now.
Copy that.
151. This was relayed by Salt Lake. They're advising a complainant called 911, and he was stating there's an APB out on him for the shooting at UVU. He's now pinging at the Urban Pioneer Cafe at SMPP break.
I was just told that the FBI wants you to stand by there with him, and they're on their way to you. Thank you. And that came from the agent that's leaving Provo PD right now.
I want to be clear. I am hearing this from multiple officers who were involved with the hunt, who have reached out since the very beginning and said everything was weird, everything was wrong. We feel like we were effectively being sent on like wild goose hunts, like a wild goose hunt by the feds, and the feds were sort of directing the show.
So sorry. Thank you, Co-Train. I was muted again. I lost my train of thought when ALV came in because I know he's a big Candace fan, but there you have it. The Utah police are saying that they pulled over one of those SUVs, and because the one cop, if you watch our show yesterday, he expected to see, the cop says he expected to find, possibly somebody that was involved in that. And he was shocked to see it was an FBI agent, flashed the badge, and then said, gotta go. So Candace is a grifter. Here we go. See, that statement on this show is as popular as my Godfather statements on your and Tommy's show and Team Do show. Here, Candace says we could do, and we probably will do after all this is over, a 30-part series breakdown on the wonderful life of Candace Owens with co-host Anthony. Let's listen to Trump. Now, I falsely predicted that he will come out and say that we're going to war with Venezuela yesterday. So I'm going to pivot a little bit, but
it's a blockade. Not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through. You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back. But they took it. They illegally took it.
So there's a blockade, and we're not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through. And they took our oil. They illegally took it, and we want it back. So ALV was right. The president cannot declare war. However, the blockade is what started World War II. And what ended up happening? The Japanese came in and snuck attacked Pearl Harbor and killed how many Americans? And then sent us into a war that killed how many Americans? With D-Day and all of those wars in the South Pacific, the battles of the South Pacific. Is that what's going to happen? ALV secretly listens to Candace. Well, the thing is, he's scared to, Co-Train, because if he listened to her, he wouldn't be saying that. He would be forced to admit that he was wrong, and that it would only take listening to her for like a half an hour to realize that she's not a grifter. She's not crazy. Now, you want to make the argument about Alex Jones? We could have that debate. I mean, it's, it depends on the issue. But with this and Candace being Charlie's best friend, you can't fake this. You can fake it if you're Turning Point USA coming off looking like the murderous version of Amway. Co-Train, I'd rather watch paint dry. Well, to be fair, that's kind of what you could be doing on the stationary bike anyway, right, ALV? I mean, there's not a whole lot of options. Well, that's not true. I guess you just put on a show ahead of time, or some type of music, I guess, But anyway, I mean, all jokes aside, that's what this is, a declaration of war. So I was right. You can't say that there's a blockade and we're going to stop anybody that shouldn't be going in from going in and saying we want our oil back. You took it illegally. Like what? She's making tons of money over her conspiracy theories, con artists. Well, that would be saying that all of the millions of people that watch her show daily are easily conned. And you have people like me and Co-Train that will beg to differ with that. Now, will I go on a rant about somebody owning a macaroni and cheese company that doesn't actually own it? Yes. So that's why I don't have millions of followers. I have 559 the last time I checked. So we all have our shortcomings. That's my own embarrassment. But she has, you can't argue with her, ALV. But it's not for everybody. Not everybody has time in their day to set aside for determining whether Brigitte Macron has a, male part or not. It is what it is, to each their own. So, is she making tons of money off of this? Yes, 100. Was she making tons of money before this? Yes, 100. And half the reason why she's making so much more money right now is because the people there. It's not people being conned. It's the cons that are also watching, and they're panicking. It's not the people that there's nobody being conned. It's the people. It's the con artists themselves that are panicking. The globalists, they're all watching, and there's a lot of them. So they're basically double, tripling her views right now. Candace is definitely in a acquired taste, yes. 3.9 million views to a video. How much money does that make? Well, I think she's making between $100,000 and $200,000 a month in super chats. So you can imagine the amount of ads that she, because she's pumping out. I just noticed that yesterday she promoted Rumble. So she is. I'm guessing because of this, she said the best place that you can find her is on Rumble. I'd never heard her say that before. Maybe Cotrain has. He knows a lot more than I do about this stuff. But I'm just going to guess and say that they offered her Rumble. Because before it was like Dan Bongino, and he's mort. He ain't nobody going to fucking go on Rumble for his ass now. They don't give a. Everybody's going to watch his video one time to hear him fucking just whatever the fuck he's going to say, and we're not going to watch him anymore. I bet you they offered Candace a portion of that thing, and so it's become her platform, Like she's so big now that she kind of like probably did a Spotify deal that Joe Rogan did at one point, where she don't even need super chat, she don't need ads, she don't need shit. These guys, she's so big, and that's kind of how they. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying that that's true or not, but that's kind of how they can get ahead of you, and there's kind of some censorship involved in that, just because even though there's no censorship on Rumble, it's more of a limited audience. I personally will. Here's the thing. This is my theory. She's so important that she's the one that will get us to go to Rumble. Nobody else has been able to. I don't know about you guys, but I went to Rumble like a couple times to check out Nick Fuentes and to see Tim Pool's after party one time, to hear them just, before I fucking realized what a fucking dipshit he was. So Dan Bongino is done, Stephen. It is official. This is from him himself. I will be leaving my position with the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, and Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her. So that was put out 2 p.m. yesterday. So, we've got everything from thank you, Dan, for everything you have done, which is a fake account. Good choice, bro. When you leave government service, do you get your balls back? Leak the Epstein files on the way out, or you're a coward. He's done. He's mort. No one gives a fuck what he says on YouTube anymore. Just my opinion. Or Rumble or wherever. He's not a needle mover. And it's just what it is. Let's see here. Let me get whoa. The chat is going crazy. I must have said something bad. She's making tons of money over her conspiracy theory. Oh, we watched that one. 3.9 million views. Candace is definitely an acquired taste. Not too shabby. Google says YouTube pays 25 to 5 grand per million views, adds up to 15 to 40,000 depending on her CPM cost per million. ChatGPT says she could make 8 to 20,000 per video from ad revenue. Mustang Mike, good morning. Well, at one point, and she's number one. Joe Rogan, I know, I mean, he's making, I think he makes like $1 million per episode now, you know, give or take. At one point it was 75,000 per episode. Now I think he makes like $1 million per episode. So I have no idea how that works. All I know is when you have the influence that she does in that audience, it's got to be a, you know, those numbers probably are not telling the whole story. I would imagine that there's a lot more money involved in it than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, does the okay, so the ad revenue, that's just what YouTube pays you for the ads or whatever, right? But that doesn't include the sponsorships, right? The sponsorships, because she does a lot of ad reads on there, like I said, with Rumble and different supplements. She did a methylene blue supplement at one time. So she's got to be making, I mean, that's got to be like Super Bowl money. Like, how much money does a Super Bowl ad cost? Right? I mean, if you think about it, it's probably not, you know, to that extreme, but it's probably a huge amount of money. Maybe somebody can chat GPT that. In 2025, what she's doing is, yeah, no, I mean, it is a job. It's real journalism. She is redefining journalism, because you've had everybody to this point has been a fake journalist. What they did is they took Megyn Kelly, and I mean, you co-trained me. I know you already know this. And even Alex Jones and Piers Morgan and all these different people, they put them on the internet, but they still are deep staters. They still are pro-Israel. They're still selling the narrative, pushing the weapons. She's a true journalist, and she's calling it out for what it is, you know. Now, does everybody have their price, and does everybody have an angle? Yes, of course. But that's what true capitalism is, right? I mean, you can't hate it. As Tommy would say, you cannot knock the hustle at all. So Super Bowl is big money with the commercial. Yes, 100%. That's where you make money, as the sponsors. That's how we are able to make good money on our. Yep, and Magooch would know, because they have 3 million something subscribers on their channel, and that is where the big money comes in from. You know, you can become, you know, I mean, there's small time YouTubers out there that are making $500,000 a year. You know, you're talking about less than 1 million subscribers, that they just have a lot of views. They get a lot of views. They go live a lot. They get a lot of super chats. And with the audience they're able to reach, you know, the more audience you're able to reach, the more money that those things pay you. And it can add up to, like, there was one guy in particular, I was shocked when I heard that he was making $500,000 a year off of YouTube, was the MMA guru. You know, I don't know if you guys know who he is, but so, you know, it's got to be the amount of money that Candace can make off of this it's beyond what I believe what we're contemplating. You know, maybe Magooch could throw a number out there, what he could just guess what she's probably making in a year if she maintains this type of, you know, 3 million views per. She has as many views per episode as Magooch's channel has subscribers, and he has over 3 million subscribers. I mean, so, and I can only imagine that Magooch and those guys are making good money. And you just said that they're making good money. So, and one of the videos that I just seen showed his nephew building, I think it was $100,000 pond. So, you know, what you consider good money, I would consider that great money. You know what I mean? If you can afford to build $100,000 pond. So I'm just saying, it's got to be. I mean, I can't even put a number on it, but I would have to say that it's got to be at least tens of millions of dollars a year. tens of millions of dollars a year. She has a very small team, like 3 to 4 people, so she just keeps most of what. Yeah, and her husband does all the tax stuff, right? He's very good at all that stuff, the LLCs and the setting up the tax structures or whatever. Elon just surpassed $600 billion and is on the way to being the first trillionaire. Crazy. 30-second Super Bowl ad, 7 million. Over 5 million followers across the platforms. Yeah, I mean, when you have this many people talking about her, then the money's got to be astronomical. And the corporations, they act quick. And at this point, it's got to be like a bidding war. So it's got to be like the prices have to be, if she knows what she's doing, it's got to be like crazy town when it comes to that money, because she can only do so many ad reads. So, you got to be coming to the table with some money. You know what I mean? Because she can only read a few ads. I would love to know. It's got to be a huge amount of money. That's how Gooch is building 100,000. Yep. I am sponsored for every video for the next 2 months. That's about 200. Damn. Okay. So see, that right there could just tell you. So, that's $1 million a year just in sponsorships. So it's got to be $100 million a year or more, because I think they offered Joe Rogan, Spotify offered him like just the number was like $100 million for 3 years. Who knows what the actual number was? It's got to be she's making well over $1 million an episode. Well over $1 million an episode. And I would say that it probably, I bet you it's got to be close to $1 million an ad read. That's what I'd be charging. That would be my minimum. Unless it was, if I was going to advertise the social club or the guild or something, I would only charge, $10,000. What channel are you talking about, Gooch? Not your name channel? No, it's called, here, we'll pull it up. Hold on. I don't know how to say his last name. I don't want to butcher it, but we'll go to it right now. I pulled it up. Cuffaro, is that how you say it? 3.28 million subscribers. 24-year-old who loves animals and creating content with friends. Watch me build my backyard into something crazy. And he's got over 1,000 videos. And his latest video 2 days ago was building $100,000 aviary in my backyard for birds. And we'll watch this for a second.
With USAA Safe Pilot, I
get a little ad read. We'll play out the whole video for Gooch.
Oh yeah. Let the fun begin, folks.
Snake, where?
They're all over the backyard.
Fully graded, fully flattened. All right, folks. First hole.
There's no other way for me to show the perspective of how deep that is until I get inside of it. Look at that.
Here we go.
But regardless, folks, this is it. Look how crazy. And it literally started with this piece of paper right here. Holy smokes. Oh, goodness gracious, what am I doing? Wow, that is one truckload of dirt. What is going on, pros? Welcome back to another video. I have ordered 15 truckloads. 15 of those. That's one. Dude, I don't think it does perspective of how big that is. That's a big truck. Well, now we need to get it from here all the way to here. And the reason why we can't have the truck dump here is because there's one main problem. That's my septic tank. And that truck, even if we took this fence out, goes anywhere near that septic tank, boom, breaks it into the ground. And I need to replace my whole septic. So instead, we have this giant bobcat. This bobcat right here is...
Well, it's a combination, you know, of loving what you do and then knowing what you're doing. Right? Because I love what I do and I know what I'm doing when it comes to like making my products, but I have no idea how to even begin to do anything with YouTube. You know what I mean? So you got to have the whole package, and this is the whole package. That's how they were able to get. And this has got to take a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like this is no joke. This is like, I'm sure Magooch, you know, this has got to be like. Not only a full-time job business, it's like there's got to be multiple people involved in this.
Spencer's going to run. He's going to be scooping dirt from up front and driving it all the way back. But look how much groundwater had filled in since. I mean, dude, that's crazy. This was completely bone dry, empty. Marvin, enough. This was bone dry. This was completely dry. Y'all saw it. So now we've got to get all that water out as we get dirt in. Oh, it's going so fast. There it goes. Bam. Out the end over there. That is going to drain into my front yard yet again. It's the only way to empty out the pond.
When did it start popping off, Magooch? Like when do you know, like how many, you say 12 years, like how many years into it do you feel like it really started paying off and you really started making some good money off of it?
On, and we had another truckload arrive. So Spencer's going to start working on the Bobcat. Here it comes, because we need to get this dirt right here behind me to the backyard before the next truck arrives. We don't have a lot of room to work with. We're definitely going to be breaking driveway.
I'm going to skip around and play a couple other videos. See what else we got on here. $13 million views. Some of these videos have like 400,000, 187,000. This one has 13 million views from 7 years ago. Oh, I see. So, yeah, videos that they drop that are just like a week old are getting 250,000 views.
That's crazy. I'm going to make sure I get every single one of these that I find out. That is an absolute giant.
We started making big money into our 4 to 5 year when he bought his first house at 17. That's awesome. The channel has over 1 billion views. Yeah, it's big time.
Oh my gosh, my rhino plecos had babies. This is one of my hybrids. I'm not sure which one. Holy smokes, a baby walking catfish. No way.
No! No, stop!
Oh, you know what the best part of this entire thing is?
What's that?
What I'm doing right now, scooping out weeds, this is the last time I'm going to ever do it. I bought these waders to scoop out weeds because of how much grow in this pond. As you can see, the last few days, we have been draining our backyard pond. It's about 1 foot or maybe even 2 feet.
I think with this with your guys' channel, a lot of people have a lot of, say there's a lot of channels that have over 1 million subscribers, but your channel, the subscribers are actually interested in the content. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, like, I, for one, I love what I like. I'm sure you know who Bama Bass is. I watch his videos. They drop every Sunday. He does his, he has the 5A for, I think he called it like Mossy Oak or something, his pond, and then he moved and he's building a bigger pond. But he keeps track of the weight of all his fish and stuff like that. It's really interesting. But there's a lot of people that, subscribe to that channel that probably watch the videos like religiously every time they drop one, or there's a lot of channels where you subscribe, but you just don't watch them. Like we all have a list of channels that we subscribe to, and then there's the channels that we watch all their videos. You know what I'm saying? And I can only guess, you're not getting all of them, but of course, but because I don't even watch all the videos. You could see on there that for whatever reason, and a lot of it just comes down to because it's invisible on my feed. I guess I just have to watch a few more videos, but it's one of those things that I just don't see the videos come across my thing. Like they'll push, I unsubscribed to Trish Regan a while back, but I continue to see her videos on my feed because they just push that kind of stuff. So, but with 3.28 million subscribers and you get 300,000 views, that's 10% of the subscribers watch the video within 2 days. That's huge. That's got to be like, 10% when you have that many subscribers, that's freaking huge, right? It's got to be. And some of your videos have, like four or five times the amount of views as subscribers. 13 million views, and you have 3.28 million subscribers. So is that because people they've watched that video multiple times? And it possibly could be because, like if you're buying an aquarium, there's probably a lot of useful information in that video. Like if you go on YouTube and you type in, like I need some information on, whatever for my fish for a new aquarium or whatever, that video probably pops up, I would imagine. You probably know like all the inside baseball and all this stuff. Exactly, right on. I love how we derailed this show. Well, this is what we do here, ALV. We always it could be the bookie minute with me and Thindu, which is my favorite. My favorite thing to do is talk shop with Thindu on here. If you would see our meet and greets at an event, you think they are in line to meet Michael Jackson? It's unbelievable. Damn, that's awesome. So you guys probably sell merch, and you guys do the whole deal. So you guys are like legit. You guys are like legit YouTubers. You guys got a fan club and everything, obviously. Yeah, obviously. There's literally 300,000 people, 300,000 fans. You can chalk it up to that. If every video that you guys do immediately gets 300,000 views, that means you have at least 300,000 fans, religious fans. And yeah, so I know for a fact, who Deer Meat for Dinner is then Rob, I can't remember his last name. He had the strokes or whatever. Same thing with him. Those people love him, man. They want to go fishing with him. They want to just meet him, straight up celebrities. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, I'm not doing any promoting See No Evil. I mean, there's nothing I could ever do that they haven't already done. You know what I mean? But yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a very relatable channel for from children to, yeah. See, that's what makes it so good too. 20K a month in merch. Fuck. What kind of? So you probably just don't do T-shirts though. I mean, obviously. So your guys' merch, like, do you guys do like merchandise? Like, I mean, like actually like products? Do you guys have your name on like aquariums and, you know, actual like products like that? That's a lot of money. That's definitely not all from T-shirts. It's on autopilot, Osada. Rob is a good friend of ours. Oh, okay, so you actually know him personally. Yeah, I mean, he has a huge channel too, right? Well, I mean, you probably have just as many, if not more, subscribers than him. YouTube doesn't show repeat views in the number, so those are individual views only in that number. So very impressive. Yeah, that's huge. It's got to be one of the most. It's got to be way up there if you think about it. I mean, I'm sure there's more where there's like the, you know, like the gamers and that's got to be like in the top upper crust though. That's like the top echelon of, you know, over 1 million subscribers to the amount of views you get per video. That's got to be like in the top 5%, I would guess. I don't know if Magooch can speak on that or not. Paul and Rob are always doing VC. That's how much I know. Yes, T-shirts, stuffed animals, etc. Nice. Okay, so you're making that much money on fucking merch. That's incredible, Magooch. I mean, it's just that's awesome. You know, it's amazing what what can be done on YouTube. It actually kind of inspires me to, you know, because you guys do what you love, and the thing is, you just have to figure out. I'm talking about me. I have to figure out what you guys figured out about how to, you know, make it work for YouTube, and you know, because I my whole life is dedicated to my business, right? I mean, that's I walk and talk and live and breathe. Everything is about my business. If I put it on YouTube now, I'm not going to get that many subscribers for sure. I'm not going to make that much money because there's a lot more people interested in, you know, animals and, you know, that kind of stuff than there is going to be in like bacon, cupcakes and stuff like that. But that's not to say that you still can't, you know, I mean, that's an incredible amount of money. We are giving away a new Porsche for Christmas. Damn. You had a video go viral on Joe Rogan. Okay, so you guys are big time. It just so you guys already gave one away and now you're giving one away, or this is the one you're giving away. Twitch gamers make a killing. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you know, it's there's definitely a lot of money to be made on you know, YouTube, and it's just like anything else in life, right? Lots of people start businesses, and you know, everybody has their own path. Most people fail at business. I feel just blessed to even, I'm complaining in no way, shape, or form. I just feel so blessed to even be doing what I'm doing because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I get better every day, but it's a slow process over here. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Donna, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, no, it's awesome. That's awesome, Magooch. All right, well, let's I don't even know if I have any more X videos or not. did own Benjamin. This guy's got a little take on Dan Bongino.
At this point, who else isn't fucking surprised? Dan Bongino used to talk a big fucking game on his podcast. And I remember him saying, you always got to look out for those that talk a big fucking game, but once they get in a position of fucking power to do something about it, they don't. Now, don't misinterpret my fucking video. I'm not saying that he didn't do anything productive, but this is exactly where Dan Bongino was supposed to be fucking different. He was supposed to be the fucking bulldog America fucking wanted and needed. This is why we supported him and his fucking podcast. I know, I'm already hearing it in my DMs. Well, Lou, maybe his hands were tied behind his back. Maybe the system is more corrupt than we ever thought it was. Yeah, fuck all that. This is why he was different. And this is exactly the fuck shit the American people are sick and fucking tired of.
And it's true. I cannot disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that, you know. And, you know, I'm not mad at Dan Bongino because nobody, you know, when the FBI is doing what they're doing and, you know, all you have to do is pay attention to that Candace video. I mean, you're never going to make a change in a department where the whole thing is corrupt. You know what I mean? So the only thing is I don't see how Dan Bongino is going to survive as a podcaster now. I think that we're going to want to listen to what he has to say one time, and that's it. He's toast. You know, there's just nothing there anymore. This guy sounds like just chilling. Yeah, kind of. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. What are you up to, ALV? You want to come up for a couple minutes and talk? We got like 15 minutes before Tommy's show starts. I can send you the link. I think that was the last video. Yeah. Let me see if I skipped any. Trump, the SUV, Chevy Chase, Piers Morgan, Stu Peters. I don't think we played this one. Venezuela defense minister. The armed forces categorically reject the delusional statements made yesterday by Mr. Trump. He has claimed we have stolen the oil that lies under our land. The truth has been revealed. It's not about narco-terrorism. It's all about the oil. Well, I think we've all been saying that all along. You know I have. I can't disagree with them.
El día de ayer, lamentablemente, escuchamos unas delirantes declaraciones del presidente de los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica.
I don't think we need to listen to this. Does anybody speak? What are they speaking there in Venezuela? What kind of language is that? Portuguese or Spanish or? Did you change your text, Donna? Are you doing? My eyes were deceiving me here on. I do that to ThemeDo all the time, but it looks weird on StreamYard. I was like, what the hell? Do I need to clean my glasses? It's just a different font. There's a thing on here for a StreamYard where you can change your font. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So let me do that. And then it says, oh, yeah, because I already pay $50 a month. And to change, I think it's $44 a month for this StreamYard. And to change your font, it's going to be $84 a month. I couldn't get off that page fast enough. Oh, you're playing with the keyboard? Right on. Yeah, I like to do the upside down text generator and Gothic text. But yeah, and I'm sure there's other options that come along with that premium upgrade. But yeah, I'm not paying $40 a month to change my font. So, yeah, that's all the videos I got today, guys. Let's see what this says. Venezuelan Navy now escorting oil tankers through blockade zone. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, just a bunch of junk on here. So I think we'll end the show there. But it was a good show. And if you have not, that's crazy. $40 for fonts, right? I wonder if I can, if it'll show. No, you guys won't be able to see it. Probably. See, premium fonts for your brand. Elevate your broadcast with a broader selection of fonts. Upgrade your plan to unlock premium and custom fonts. Okay, so this is what you get for the $40. Custom fonts, full HD 1080p, 4K local recordings, logos, overlays, video clips, and backgrounds, multi-stream 8 destinations, unlimited streaming and recording, on-air webinars, and much more. So let's see here. And for how much is this? So that is for the advanced. You get 25 sets of AI clips a month, extra camera, 15 backstage participants. You can have an on-air webinar with 1,000 viewers. So yeah. And then there's the teams for $300 a month. You get on-air webinars with 10,000 viewers, pre-recorded streams of 8 hours, AI clips, unlimited sets, green room, and 10 seats. And then there is the business experience, the ultimate production. You have to contact them for the price. So if it's $300 a month for the teams, the business is probably going to be what? $1,200 a month. You know, I'm guessing some crazy town amount of money. Who's messaging me at this hour? I gave my buddy one of those little edible chocolates. I feel super tired this morning. I felt relaxed last night. I ended up eating the whole thing. Well, I told him he would feel tired. He has to work at 6 a.m. So, her text is different but nice. Yes, it's cool. Everything has a price. You already know. Thanks again, Osada, and God bless YouTube. Yes. I mean, that's life-changing, Magooch. If anybody doesn't think that, it's possible on YouTube, you're the example, So, but it's just like anything else. It ain't easy. You can't just half-ass something in life and expect it to make you $20,000 a month in merch or $200,000 every 2 months in ads. It's got to be like a whole bunch of work. And somebody like ALV, automatically has value built into him because of his education level. So he's already baseline, has a certain value to him. Although, with the changing AI landscape and everything, who knows how that all plays out. But somebody like me, I literally have zero value when it comes to like starting out. I have to create all the value myself. I don't have, no degree, no real education, just my wits. So but I'm not complaining because I'm slowly, Osada Treats has become, I wouldn't give it up there's nothing you could offer me that I would change for my business. Nothing. You could say, well, I'll give you this, I'll give you this gimmick and, you can make this much amount of money doing this. I don't want it. I don't care about the money. I care about what I love to do. And going back to what that dude said earlier on Benjamin, it's about being free. It's about not being in debt, and you don't have to be rich. You just have to not be in debt. That's truly what it means to be free and just, in my opinion, just be happy. Of course, you got to have money. You got to have a way of making money, but it's an equal balance. So Osada, my nephew, works minimum 18 hours a day, 7-day left for Puerto Rico yesterday to make a video and back today. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it is. It's the same with me. Not quite on that level for sure, but already baked cupcakes this morning. Already have my whole day planned out for what I got to do, and actually this whole weekend. And it's nonstop. It's nonstop, and whatever it turns into. But for me, the important thing is that I just love what I'm doing, and because it does take an enormous amount of work, and a lot of the work, there's no money involved in it. A lot of the work you're putting in, you're doing it for something that is going to pay off down the road. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of the business. So I totally get it. There's an offer you can't refuse coming from the Osada. Well, now that's a different story, LV, because they'll threaten you. You know what I mean? They'd be like, you take this or else. Osada, do not put yourself down. You have so many strength and you work so hard. You're an artist. You have a good eye and you strive high for all the details. Don't be well, thank you, CG2. Yes. Definitely not putting myself down. Just, it is what it is. Like, I'm just saying, like, somebody like me, like if I were to go just like, okay, I need to get a job, doing what? You know what I mean? Like it's all going to be some type of entry level job. The best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep type of thing, as Kenny Rogers said in The Gambler. But yeah, no, definitely not put myself down. And I do have a lot of strength. You have to build on your strengths too. Like I've learned to work around my sleep schedule, my crazy sleep schedule. And, yeah. And the more you do stuff, the better you get at it, So it is what, it's a journey. Osada, I have lots of faith you'll get there. Thank you. Eva, I appreciate that. The grind is real. It is. It's like anything else, though. It's no, the second that you stop, like for my business, there's no stopping. Because if I stop, then everything stops. It's over. You know what I mean? Like, and I would love to get it to the point where I could at least have a little bit of breathing room, but at the same time, you don't want to strive for, I want to get to the point where I don't have to do this anymore. That's not why I'm doing it. I don't ever want to stop doing it. You know what I mean? So I love what I do. And I'm sure your nephew probably feels the same way. It's one of the the true blessings in life, and it doesn't matter. The money's not the thing. I mean, it's not. You have to just get certain things in life right. Of course, you have to be able to support yourself. That's hugely important. A few things you have to. Your health has to be good, right? But if you can find what you love, if you can, support yourself doing what you love, it doesn't get any better than that after family. You know what I mean? Like, it truly doesn't. It is amazing. Because I've been in many jobs that I fucking hated. And, that's why I know that I'm never going to work for anybody again unless it's like, by choice for some reason. But as far as like, my main source of income is always going to be from myself. You'll make, when I'm ready, I'll make. Okay, yeah, I appreciate that, Magooch. Once I get a website set up and I have everything, all my ducks in a row, which isn't going to be anytime soon, I would love that. I would appreciate that for sure. And we can make it like maybe when there's the next big trend comes out, like, it was the hot cocoa bar and then the Dubai bar. The next time the big TikTok trend comes, I'll send you guys a bunch of stuff. In fact, I'll send it before I send ALV any chocolate. How about that, ALV? Just kidding. Just kidding, ALV. Gucci needs to get off his ass and set up the website. Yeah, the thing is that, yeah, no, I do, and I am ready to. I just wanted to, it can't be with chocolate strawberries, right? But in chocolate melts, there's certain things you have to just be able to do. But I do have plans. Like, there's a few things that I want to work on this year, and believe it or not, I want to start another business too. I want to buy a laser engraver. I've been doing some research, and I don't know if I talked about that yet or not, but I've been watching this vendor make a killing off of his sister-in-law stuff. And, you want to buy the right machine, a decent machine, but man, there's a lot of money in that, especially around this time of year. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get going. Tommy's going to be on in a couple minutes. Would it be too much? Oh no. Everybody's messaging me. It's not even 4:00 in the morning yet. My daughter just messaged me. Yes, definitely. He has a lot of pull in the industry. Believe me. Nice. That's awesome. That is amazing to hear, because I'll definitely take you up on that when I'm ready. See No Evil, thank you. Co-Train, Magooch, ALV, Dawn, I know is in here. CG2, of course. Stephen Mornell, Donna. I don't want to miss anybody. I know Tommy was here. Yeah, all you guys, thank you for hanging out. I got to take my granddaughter to school today, it looks like. Man, this is turning out. I have no problem doing it. The thing is I plan on going out to sell today, which I still need to. And now, yeah, my time frame, my walls are closing in on me today. So it is what it is. It's life. Family first, right? Always family first. All right, guys, have a good one, and we will talk to you tomorrow. See you over at Tommy.